What is going on, Phantom Army? It is your boy Phantom Stilts, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the 2 Cents Review Series. Today, we are looking at the new Bluebird Team game, a new game from Bluebird Team, Observer. And we're going to talk about 4 or 5 different points, per usual, on the 2 Cents Review Series, about what I think about this game and why I think it's going to be a heck of a survival horror game. It's going to scare the pants off of anybody who plays it. So let's get right into the episode. First point I want to talk about with Observer is obviously the environment in which the game takes place and how it helps the gameplay. So it's a first-person view survival horror game. It's a cyberpunk survival horror game, so it's based all on technology. And I'm interested to see how the first-person view and how it works and how it impacts the uneasiness of the game as you progress. Because first-person views, like we saw with Resident Evil 7, are becoming a mainstay. We're done sort of over with the third-person point of view that Resident Evil sort of patented. And we're going more towards first-person point of view, which I love because I think first-person point of view is the scariest way to do survival horror games anyway. So that's what we're talking about with the environment, is how it will impact the game from the first-person point of view and how the environment will make the game scarier, even though it is a survival horror game, but how the impact of that environment will impact the gameplay and how scary it is. The second point I want to look at is the story. Now, being a cyberpunk survival horror game, technology is going to be used against you, and it'll also be your greatest weapon. So the biggest question in this game is what is after you, because a lot of the trailers, the teaser trailer and some of the trailers that are out, they don't tell you exactly what's after you. It's obviously some type of technology or somebody pulling the strings behind the technology. So the biggest question is what is after you and why is this happening the way it is? What is going on with your character that he's brought into this situation, into this ordeal? And what is happening? Why are you here? Why is this happening to you specifically? And I think that's really intriguing because that's the coolest thing about survival horror games, is that's usually how they take place, is you don't know what's going on, you don't know why you're there, but all the answers start to sort of funnel in this really creepy way that sort of all ties itself together. And I think that's a really interesting way to do survival horror games, and that's how survival horror games have always been done. You're just this, pawn in a bigger scheme that you have no idea what's going on, but suddenly things start to make sense, things start to pull together, and you finally figure out at the very end what you're doing there and why you were so important for this to be happening to you. So I'm assuming that this cyberpunk survival horror game, Observer, is going to be just like that, and like so many other horror games that we love, and I think that's really awesome, and I'm really excited for the story. The third point I want to look at with Observer is the fear aspect, and what the fear is going to be your greatest weapon and also your greatest enemy. So all your fears are being used against you, and I can only expect that this is gonna matriculate into some seriously gnarly jump scares. Some mind manipulation is going to happen, hallucinations, etc. Your mind is going to be used against you, but you also have to use your mind in order to defeat this enemy. Whoever's pulling the strings, whatever technology, whatever computer is doing all of this to you, your mind is also your greatest weapon. So you're going to have to figure out how to use your mind while all this is happening to you, while your fears are being realized right in front of you through hallucinations. Mind manipulation, I'm sure, is going to be a big part of this game. And you have to figure out how to use your mind to get through all of this stuff, to get to the other side. And I think that's a really cool sort of double-edged sword, because you're using your mind to try to counteract what's happening while somebody's using your mind to make all of this stuff happen in front of you. And it's going to be a really cool struggle with the character and the protagonist during all of this to see if you can actually get to the other side, see if you can sort of conquer the beast, as it were, and get to the other side and finish the game. So I think that's going to be a really cool dynamic that they're putting into this game, that you have to use your mind while it's being controlled. So that's what I think of the fear aspect of the game, and I think it's going to be a really positive point that they're putting in this game. The fourth point I want to get into is actually the survival horror genre itself and how this game sort of ties in. As of right now, it's already got all the great aspects of a survival horror game in the genre to me. Only from the trailers, it has an intriguing environment, it's an unknown story, unknown character, protagonist, and you're thrown into a world where your mind is your biggest weapon and also your greatest enemy. This screams survival horror, guys, just from the environment and the character and the unknown story. We like survival horror games for that aspect, that we don't know what's going on. We like the fact that we have an unknown person just sort of thrown into this scenario, thrown into this ordeal, thrown into this world. They have no idea what's going on, but there's something sinister about it. There's something like we've been here before, like we know what's going on. We have a hint of something that's happening to us, and it all starts to matriculate and come together around the end of the game, and then we're hit with usually a huge, massive ending where everything comes to culmination, and we figure out finally that we were a chosen one. This was supposed to happen to us, and I can only expect that with a game like this that looks to be on a massive scale, like like a Resident Evil 7 or like an Outlast or an Outlast 2, that this game can only have a jaw-dropping ending, and I'm really excited to play this game and figure out what that jaw-dropping ending is at the very end. The last thing I want to talk about is just the general feel. Now, as you guys could probably guess through the general feel of this game, I think it's going to be spectacular. From just watching, I watched the actual teaser trailer and the trailer from E3 this past year at about 11:30 or 11 o'clock at night, and it literally scared the pants off me. Not literally, but it was pretty freaking scary. And I think this game's going to do very well. It is only on PC, by the way, so you console gamers are going to have to miss out on this one. Unless they make it compatible with both systems. That will depend on how well it does when it releases. But I think this game looks amazing. I think it's exactly what a survival horror game needs to be in this genre right now, because the first-person point of view is only getting more and more commonplace with survival horror games. And this one, I think, is going to do it just right. But that was my 2 cents on Observer, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure to comment down below what you guys think of the episode and what you guys think of the trailers of Observer. That will be linked in the description. But without any further ado, this is your boy, Phantom Stilts. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next 2 Cents Review Series video. Take care.